Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. We are continuing Alida and the Goals series. Hey bud. Today we are going to talk about new to me authors that I'm really excited to try in 2021. And I want to start this off by saying that just because I only own one book of certain authors doesn't mean that that's going to be the book that I read by them. Just because I know that there are other books that I'm really excited for by them as well. Obviously, I want to read my TBR first, but if I happen to get a library book or something by one of these authors that isn't the one that I physically own, I might do that. Figured I would talk about the authors that I own the most of first. And then I would go down to the authors that I only own one book from, but I'm really interested in that author as a whole. Oh, we got a special guest today. This is Bella. Usually she doesn't try to be a camera hog, but she wants some attention right now. Her sinuses have been bothering her, so I gave her some Benadryl a little bit ago. And I think it helped her feel better, but she kind of gets drowsy on Benadryl. We're going to have to try and figure this out. So just Bella and Jelly Bean. Hey guys. Okay, so let's start. I have 3 authors with 3 books that I own. So we're going to start with one of them. And since this one is right on top, we're going to start with Jodi Picoult. From what I know about her, I've heard that her books are contemporary, but they're like very hard-hitting contemporaries, which, hello, have you ever been on my channel? Well, no, if you're new here, that's awesome, but I love hard-hitting contemporaries. They are one of my favorites. It'd probably be thriller than hard-hitting contemporary, regular contemporaries. I guess I could just classify thrillers and contemporaries, but hard-hitting contemporaries have a special place in my heart. So, the choices that are on my shelf, for this one, since I have 3 of her books, and I know which 2 I want to read more than anything, like right now, if I could pick a book to read by this author, I already know which one it would be. It's this one. Okay, so let's talk about these books. So this one is House Rules. Okay, let's just go House Rules. 19 minutes. And My Sister's Keeper. I don't know if this can work, guys. House Rules is about this teenage boy who has autism. He is a high-functioning boy with autism. If you know anything about autism, you should know that a person with autism, they usually specialize in something that they get obsessed with kind of, or manic about. And for some people, it's different for every single person. For the kid in this book, he specializes in being obsessed with forensics and he has a CB radio in his bedroom where he can hear what the police are saying to each other over the radio. And usually he goes to the crime scene and kind of gives the officer insight into what he thinks happened until he is questioned by a detective who thinks that because this teenager has autism, he has problems looking people in the eye. That is one thing that is, a lot of people with autism have problems doing. And he fidgets a lot, and he just has those signs that he is the person that committed this crime and that he is lying to the police. But these signs that he is lying to the police are really just part of his autism. It's not signs that he's guilty. But the detectives don't see it that way. Followed by, in second place, 19 Minutes, which I'm not going to read what it's about. All I know is it's about a school shooting. And as a future teacher, scratch that. As a teacher, that is something that scares the heck out of me because this is becoming more and more of a reality in current times. But at the same time, it's something that I really want to educate myself on. And the last one by Jodi Picoult that I really want to read is My Sister's Keeper. And I've seen the movie. I enjoyed the movie, but it was heartbreaking. So I believe the book is going to be even worse. But it's about these two sisters, Anna, Anna and Kate. Kate is Anna's older sister, I think. And she has leukemia. And she's been fighting this battle like her entire life, almost. And then Anna is not sick, but she's gone through some of the blood transfusions, the bone marrow operations, and all the same operations as her sister. But she finds out that Anna finds out that she was created or born just to be like spare parts for Kate, her older sister. And that just broke my heart. Like, I am a leukemia survivor myself, and I was very sick. But to create another human being or have another human being just as spare parts for the sick daughter. Yeah, I understand that you're going to be heartbroken when something happens. If she ends up dying, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be heartbreaking. You're going to have to grieve. It's going to be terrible. But you create another life form or you have another baby just to grow up and like it's like an indispensable life to you. I'm not okay with that. And it's been a very long time since I've watched the movie, so I don't remember the movie very much. So this would be a perfect time to read the book. But I don't know, it just like tugs at my heartstrings, and I can't even imagine. Another one that I own 3 of that has already been on the TBR this year, but that I never read. That is not right. Okay. So this is Wendy Walker, who I'm very excited and I really want to read something by her. For some reason I'm collecting all of her books. I'm just not reading them. Go figure. So there is All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker, The Night Before, and Emma in the Night. So if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably pick Emma in the Night because that one's the one I've been most excited for. But Emma in the Night follows these two girls who are sisters who go missing. I think it's Cass and Sarah. Let's see. Emma and Cass. Emma in the Night. Duh. So Emma and Cass go missing, and then a couple years later, I think that Cass returns home without Emma, and she has these very odd stories, and like they're very crazy stories. Like they don't sound real, and they're trying to find her sister Emma, and they're trying to figure out what actually happened for those 3 years that they were missing. So that sounds great. Then there's The Night Before, which I honestly have no idea what this is about. But Wendy Walker, and that's kind of a cool cover. It's interesting. So, let's figure it out together. Laura has never been lucky in love. She falls too hard and too fast, always choosing the wrong men. Devastated by the end of her last relationship, she fled her Wall Street job and New York City apartment for her sister's house in the Connecticut suburb, where they both grew up. Though still haunted by the tragedy that's defined her entire life, Laura is determined to take one more chance on love with the man she's met on the internet. Ooh. Rosie has spent most of her life worrying about her troubled sister. Fearless but fragile, Laura has always walked on emotional tightrope. And Rosie has always been there to catch her. Laura's return under mysterious circumstances has cast a shadow over Rosie's peaceful life with her husband and son. A shadow that grows darker as Laura leaves the house for her blind date. When Laura does not return home the following morning, Rosie fears the worst. Laura is not responding to calls or texts, and she's left no information about the man she planned to meet. As Rosie begins a desperate search to find her sister, she is not just worried about what this man might have done to Laura. She's worried about what Laura may have done to him. What? Okay, so that sounds just so good. I didn't know it was like a sister story, which is, so is Emma in the Night. Ooh, that one sounds, they both sound really good. And then the last one is All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker. So this is a book about Jenny. Jenny Kramer is brutally attacked at a local party in Connecticut, and the police wait, hold on. Jenny is given a controversial drug to medically erase her memory of the violent assault, but she doesn't forget everything that they are giving her to forget. So, unreliable witness? Heck yes. Or unreliable victim. Next author that I have 3 books by, so I definitely just... But my next one is Harlan Coben. He is a very big, well-known thriller author, and I really want to read some of his stuff. I found these all at thrift store, and my thrift store was doing buy 4, get the 5th free. So I bought 3 by the same author, and then got 2 more. You know, it's fine. So, the first one is Runaway. It's about from the perspective of a father who is trying to chase his daughter down. And she has run away from him. And I think she's a druggie. She's addicted to drugs and an abusive boyfriend. And so her dad tracks her down, and as soon as he tracks her down, she runs away again, and her dad follows. So that's a cool cover, because it's like that, and then there's this girl here, you guys can't see it, and then her dad is like right behind her, kind of going around the same corner. So, I'm excited. I'm probably most excited for this one. Then, this one is my second choice. This is Hold Tight. This one I had never heard of until I saw it, but it's about these 2 parents, Tia and Mike, who are spying on their teenage son because he has just lost a friend. His friend committed suicide, and now he's very withdrawn and very sad. And his parents are worried about him, and they think that he might try to do the same thing that his best friend did. Yeah. Home is a decade ago, kidnappers grabbed 2 boys from wealthy families and demanded ransom. They went silent. No trace of the boys ever surfaced. For 10 years, their families have been left without nothing but painful memories and a quiet desperation for the day that has finally arrived. Myron and his friend, Wynn, believe they have located one of the boys, now a teenager. Where has he been for 10 years, and what does he know about the day more than half a life ago when he was taken? And most critically, what can he tell Myron and Wynn about the fate of his missing friend? We have 2 books. We have 2 authors with 2 books on my physical TBR. This one is probably going to be the most surprising because she is like a fluffy author. I feel like she's been compared to Casey West, which Casey West is either a hit or miss author with me. I have loved a couple of her books and hated a couple of her books. I still have one on my physical TBR. Jennifer E. Smith. There is Windfall and the Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. I don't know anything about either of these. I found this at the dollar store. And I recognize the author, and she's one that I've really been wanting to read. This one I found at the thrift store. So, of course, I got it. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick this one just because I know more about it. But this, I usually don't like Love at First Sight. So, we'll see. But this is a story that takes place on a plane on her way to her husband's second marriage. She meets this boy. I don't even know her name. Hadley. Hadley meets this boy on the plane, and they have this, like, romance on the plane. Although, how can you have a romance on the plane? That would be super uncomfortable. Like, I don't know. I don't like plane rides, so maybe that's just me. When they get to London, they run into each other again. Then, Windfall. Alice doesn't believe in luck. at least not good luck. But she does believe in love, and for some time now, she's been pining for her best friend Teddy. On his 18th birthday, just when it seems they might be on the brink of something, she buys him a lottery ticket on a lark. To their astonishment, he wins $140 million, and in an instant, everything changes. At first, it seems like a dream come true, especially since the two of them are no strangers to misfortune. As a kid, Alice won the worst kind of lottery possible when her parents died just over a year apart from each other, and Teddy's father abandoned his family not long after that, leaving them to grapple with his gambling debts. Through it all, Teddy and Alice have leaned on each other, but now as they negotiate the ripple effect of Teddy's newfound wealth, a gulf opens between them, and soon the money starts to feel more like a curse than a windfall. As they try to find their way back to each other, Alice learns more about herself than she ever could have imagined, and about the unexpected ways in which luck and love sometimes intersect. That sounds adorable. But she is pretty chunky for, like, contemporary. I mean, she looks pretty chunky, right? So, let's see. 416 pages, but yeah. So, this is Amy Reed. Beautiful, crazy. I think these are hard-hitting contemporaries again, which, you know, I'm fine with. This is a picture of me in their heads. A picture of someone I don't know yet. She's not the chubby girl with the braces and bad perm. She's not the girl hiding in the bathroom at recess. She is someone new, a blank slate they have named Beautiful. That is what I am now, beautiful. With this new body and face and hair and clothes. Beautiful, with this erasing of history. Yes. Then crazy. What if I can't ever be who you want me to be? Connor knows that Izzy will never fall in love with him the way he's fallen for her, but somehow he's been let into her crazy, exhilarating world and become her closest confidant. But the closer they get, the more Connor realizes that Izzy's highs are too high and her lows are too low. And the frantic energy that makes her shine is starting to push her into a much darker place. As Izzy's behavior gets increasingly erratic and self-destructive, Connor gets increasingly desperate to stop her from plummeting. He knows he can't save her from the pain, but what if no one else can? So I think this is going to have really good bipolar representation. That is just my opinion because of the synopsis, but I do really want to educate myself more on bipolar. If I had to pick one of these right now, I would pick Crazy because of the bipolar rep. Since I only own one of these authors, I only own one book by them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the book I'm going to end up reading. This first one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to read in 2021 because it fits for a challenge that I'm doing, which will be in a different video, but it's Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson. I don't know anything about this book. I just know that Peter Swanson is so hyped, and I found this at Goodwill, so I had to get it. I mean, did I have to? No. But I did, so yeah. Hannah and her husband Lloyd have settled into a quiet life in a suburban house outside of Boston. Hinn is an illustrator and has set up shop in a nearby studio where she can forget the world and focus on her craft. After a few exhausting years of trial and error, she has found the right meds to control her bipolar disorder. Finally, she's found some stability and peace to do what she loves, create. But when they meet the couple next door, they claim begins to erode when she spots a familiar object in the husband's office. It looks exactly like something connecting to a killing that happened years ago. One of very few pieces of evidence in this disturbing and baffling case. Hen recognized it instantly because she's long had a fascination with this unsolved murder, an obsession she doesn't talk about anymore, but can't fully shake either. Could her neighbor Matthew be a killer? Or is this beginning of another psychotic episode like the one she suffered in a college when she became so consumed with a friend's guilt that she ended up hurting someone? Okay, so for one of my reading challenges, I have 52 prompts. It's like a prompt a week. I'm doing 9 different reading challenges, which we'll talk about in a different video. But for the sake of this video, I'm doing 1 weekly challenge, well 2, but the one I'm talking about here has the prompt of you read a book with the same male name as someone in your family. Matthew is my baby brother. Not this Matthew, obviously, but his name is Matthew. And there's a killer named Jack. Ooh, that's scary, but I'm pretty sure this is the one that I'm going to use. So then this one might be kind of surprising. But this is by Christina Lauren, which is a author duo who normally write romance. This is The House. It's a haunted house book, which is probably the one that I'm most excited for by them. But I know that they write really good. I hear that they write really good romances, especially like the Honey Don't List or the Unhoneymooners. It's like the fake dating trope. And I love the fake dating trope. So, something by Christina Lauren. Maybe The House. Just haunted house. Okay. And then this one might be surprising too. I want to read a Morgan Matson book because I do occasionally like a good contemporary or a good like romance. I think this one's not a romance. It's just like a YA contemporary, but it was... This follows Emily after Sloane goes missing, and Sloane basically has this bucket list for Emily to do to go find her. So it kind of reminds me of The Outliers, which I haven't read yet, but the synopsis sounds similar. This is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. But I don't know what to expect from it. I just know it has like the bucket list and best friends. Last 3 are thriller authors, you know. So there is Lisa Foley, which I have The Hunting Party because I found it on clearance for $3, so why the heck not? But she also has The Guest List, which is another one that I want to read. But this is about... It takes place in the Scottish wilderness, which is cool. It's about these 6 people, I don't know, this group of people who go to this island for a hunting party. Someone dies, and you have to kind of figure out who is the murderer. It sounds good. The Guest List is kind of similar, but it's like about this abandoned mansion, and they're having a party. So it's kind of essentially the same. I'm guessing it's kind of like the same story. But this one has more Scottish wilderness vibes, hunting, outdoorsy. I don't know. I want to read something by this author. Then Megan Miranda. The only book I own by her right now is The Last House Guest. And he gives me And Then There Were None vibes by Agatha Christie, which I have yet to read. Jessica Knoll. I was very excited when I found this author at my local bookstore for $5. It's Luckiest Girl Alive. As a teenager at the prestigious. That sounds wrong. Prestigious. Bradley School. Annie endured a shocking public humiliation that left her desperate to reinvent herself. Now with a glamorous job, expensive wardrobe, and handsome blue blood fiancé, she's this close to living the perfect life she's worked so hard to achieve. But Annie has a secret. There's something else buried in her past that still haunts her. Something private and painful that threatens to bubble to the surface and destroy everything. The question remains, will breaking her silence destroy all that she has worked for, or will it, at least, set Annie free? With a singular voice and twist you won't see coming, Luckiest Girl Alive is nail-bitingly addictive, equal parts funny and twisted. 2021, I'm trying to expand my reading a lot and just not be so scared of books, because I enjoy reading books, so why do I let them intimidate me or scare me? It makes no sense. But thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the big thumbs up bell. And I'll see you guys in my next video.